Hi everyone, Sokoda here from Keep the Peace. Today we're gonna have another fun time looking at another LEGO set. This time it's set number 21343, the Viking Village. This is the 51st LEGO Idea set and has quite the special backstory actually. This was designed by a fan designer named Florian, aka Brickhammer on LEGO Ideas. He got the 10K, managed to get into the review, but sadly it was rejected. He redesigned the set, resubmitted it, and got 10K again, but actually before that happened, the first project managed to get into the Target X LEGO Ideas contest, which was a contest where they basically put in 3 rejected LEGO Ideas projects, and people could vote for their favorite, and the winner would be a Target exclusive set. This set is kind of the result of that. It kind of mixes the design of both of Florian's submissions a bit. The set has 2,103 pieces and comes out October 1st. It will be in Target stores as well as LEGO Shop at Home and LEGO stores in the US. In other places of the world, it seems like it's going to be in all the usual shops that sell LEGO Ideas sets normally. The set will go for £124.99, $129.99, and €139.99. I want to thank the LEGO Ambassador Network for sending us this set early. That being said though, all the opinions will be my own, and let's get into the review. Here's a look at everything we get in this set. Basically, all of the build is just the Viking Village itself, which is kind of split up in 3 segments. We've got the shack of the blacksmith, the main building in the middle, and the big tower which leads with this little bridge towards a smaller guard tower. We also get 4 minifigures, which are a blacksmith, the leader of the village or Jarl, a warrior, and an archer. First, let's look at the minifigure. As I said, from left to right we have 4 minifigures, the Jarl, the blacksmith, the warrior, and the archer. All of these have some very nice printing on their torsos and legs. The Jarl and the warrior reuse torso prints from the LEGO Creator 3-in-1 Viking ship, but the blacksmith and archer have completely new and very nice and detailed torso prints with little tools printed on them. All of them also have leg printing, which is really nice. The creator said none of the Vikings have leg printing, so it's really cool that we get some here. And these look like they're very useful for any kind of fantasy era LEGO mocks you want to do. The blacksmith and the archer also have new face prints, while the Jarl and warrior reuse older, more common LEGO face prints. Headgear wise, we have 2 of the classic LEGO Viking helmets with different kind of horns attached to them. These might not be historically accurate, but in the instructions they said they wanted to go for a mix of like historically accurate and fantasy. For the blacksmith we have the hairpiece from Autumn from LEGO Friends, while for the warrior we have a nice recolor of the hairpiece which I think was first used for Makari from the Eternal sets in blonde, which I think works very well for like a braided blonde Viking hair design. The Jarl also has some kind of shoulder armor, could also be some pelt, but I think it's supposed to be armor. And the archer has the arrows in the back, of course. Here's a look at their backs. They all have back printing on their torsos, but I'll give you a better look with removing the armor pieces and headgear pieces. Here's a look at them without the armor and headgear pieces. You can see the printing a lot better. There's some very nice details on there, and if we turn them to the back, you can see all the nice back printing. Only the warrior has a double-sided face. It kind of makes sense that the male characters don't, since with the classic Viking helmet, you'd see the other side of the face, and we don't really want that. The 2 new torso prints have some really cool designs on their back. We have this super detailed blacksmithing symbol on the blacksmith with a hammer and a Viking helm. And for the archer we have this beautiful deer design on the back, which I really like a lot. I want to also show off some of the minifigure accessories, but before I do that, I also want to show something else that's included in this set. In the blacksmith shop, there's one of the more historically accurate Viking helmets, and I wanted to show you how that looks on the minifigure. I really wish there were 2 of those in the set, that way people could decide themselves if they wanted to go for the more historically accurate look or the more fantasy pop culture Viking look. For the tools they give the minifigures, we have this very long and elegant sword for the Jarl, as well as a yellow and green shield that has some cool wolf design on it. We get another one of these in the set itself. For the archer we have of course the classic LEGO born arrow, nothing too crazy here. The warrior has a classic axe and a shield with a blue and red design with maybe some kind of bird on there. It has some very nice metallic printing, and we also have one more of this shield print in the build itself. The blacksmith has a paintbrush, which the idea is that she paints the shields with that paintbrush. And she also has this hammer with some nice metallic printing on it. I think this hammer is a reference to the fan designer of the set, who goes by Brick Hammer online. And I think the runes on there, while not actually being Nordic runes, are supposed to be the initials BH Brick Hammer. I think that's a super smart and wonderful Easter egg, and overall a very nice piece to have, so I'm very happy they included that. The build of the set itself creates a really nice scenery. The build stands on this kind of rock island surrounded by the water, built with those blue plates. There are some wooden piers, little bits of snow, and some plants, and overall just a lot of space to put your minifigures to live in that village. If we take a look at the back of the set, we can see that the set is fully detailed all around. The buildings aren't open or anything, they are fully closed, except for that little cave underneath the tower build. We have a nice window in the back of the main build, and if we rotate the build a bit, we can see a little tree and the chimney for the blacksmith hut. The set is kind of built in 3 segments. These segments can be split apart into 3 parts. They are connected by bar and clip connections, so it can help you transport the set itself by splitting it into the smaller parts. We'll take a look at these parts individually so we can see all the smaller details. Here we have the first segment. This one is all about the blacksmith hut. We of course have the hut itself, with a nice chimney on the side with some smoke coming out of it. There's a little hammer hanging above the entrance, and I just love how they built the overlapping wooden beams on the roof. In front of the blacksmith shop, there's this stone tablet which has a nice print on it. This is a reference to the classic LEGO Vikings ship challenging Midgard serpent set, with the Viking ship and the Midgard serpent symbol that's straight up just lifted from the sail of the original set with some slight modifications. You could of course also see it as a reference to the new Creator 3-in-1 Viking ship set. We have this tree in the front. This is built with a lot of these grass pieces, which I think is a super cool building technique. There's some white on top to represent snow, and I really like how they have the little roots inside of the ground. In the back here we can see how it connects via the clips to the other segments of the bigger structure, as well as another little tree which is built with these newer fern pieces. I really like how this is built. I really like these pieces. I think this is a very nice look for the tree, and I'm glad they didn't just use the one-piece tree mold. To get a better look inside the hut, you can just take off the roof. The roof is built a bit uneven, there are some small snow details, and here you can see how the 2 parts of the roof connect. It just slides onto the roof, it's not connected by any studs. Now let's take a look inside the blacksmith shop. We have a little anvil, very small, a lot smaller than most anvils we have in other LEGO sets. We have this little barrel with some tools in it. If we take them out, we can see it's a sword, a pickaxe, some kind of bar, and a hammer. And from here we can also see that there's a water bucket. We have of course our big fireplace in the back with this little lever on the side. And if we push down on that lever, we can move the fire. This is a very fun function, it works very well. It kind of looks like you blow air into the fire to fan the flames. In the back of the room we have an unprinted shield. I think the idea here is that the blacksmith uses her paintbrush to paint that one. We have some pincers. And we have that historically accurate Viking helmet I showed you earlier, and a little candle. There are some studs to connect minifigures here, so you can very easily just put in your blacksmith minifigure into her blacksmith shop. The middle section is kind of on a square base, with some clips on the sides that connect to the other segments. There's a little wooden pier in the front, with some snow on it, and you can put a lot of minifigures there. There's the water, of course, with some transparent wave details here, which is kind of a bit weird because they're only in this part of the build and not really in any of the others, but this is also the biggest water area. And of course, we have the house itself on this segment. On the sides, we have these wooden bars, as well as a little window with some nice golden decorations. And in the back, we can see some more of those nice rock structures and another window here. The other side looks almost the same, but we have 2 windows on this side. In the front we have of course the double doors, which can be a bit finicky to open, but if you're careful it shouldn't be a problem. The roof has some nice grill pieces on there and white pieces for some snow to add some detailing. It's a bit weird that it's identical on both sides, which is kinda odd because the snow pattern probably wouldn't be identical on both sides of the roof, but you could easily just switch around some pieces if you wanted to. We have this little tower on top. It could be a chimney too, I'm not exactly sure about that, but I really like how it uses golden sausages as decorations. On the front of the building, we have this super cool golden decorations, which use the Ninjago crystallized dragon form armor pieces in a very smart way to get that build. And there are also these printed tiles which tie into the whole look very nicely. These have a really cool Nordic design. The whole roof can be taken off quite easily, which lets us get a better look inside. In the interior, we have some weapons and a shield on display on one wall. In the middle, there's a little fireplace with a little pan on top. And in the back, we have the throne of the Jarl, built with these golden mech finger pieces. I think this has a very nice look to it. There are 2 red banners behind him, and a little lamp. On the other side, we have a chicken leg and a goblet on this little table build, as well as a golden goblet for the Jarl. The third and final segment has this kind of triangular shape. Down here you can see where it connects to the others. This part has a lot of open space for minifigures, with a lot of these wooden blanks, little stones and snow detailing on it. In this open area we have some smaller details, like this little setup they have to hang their fish, as well as the barrels with the meat and this cool Midgard serpent print on them. The main building of the segment is built on top of these rocks with these cool stone stairs. These were a lot of fun to build. There's this little bridge that leads towards a smaller watchtower that's also on this segment. In the instructions it is said that this bridge is brick built because they wanted to replicate the old one-piece bridge, but this piece is no longer in production, but I think they did a really good job in brick building it and it has a lot of space to fit your minifigures on there. The little watchtower on the other side is the perfect place to put your archer, and it also has a little flag detail with another one of the printed shields in blue and red. If we turn the model to the back, we can see that there is a small cave at the bottom. The idea here is that Blacksmith can go into the cave and mine with their pickaxe the iron ore she uses for her blacksmith shop. You can also see that the main build is fully detailed all around. I especially like the little roofs they have over the windows on the first floor. And on the other side, we of course have the entrance door, which can be opened and reveals the insides of that house. These little roofs here can just be moved up and down, and I think they have some really cool building techniques using these mech fingers as decorations on the side here. On the next level, we also have some windows, but these aren't as detailed as the ones on the level below. What is really cool is that we can just take out this whole wall segment, revealing the insides of the tower. This shows up that on the first floor there's a ladder that leads up to the second, as well as some food items. There's a pumpkin in the front, and behind it there are some cherries. On the top floor, it kind of just directly leads to the bridge. There's not much inside the actual room. You can kind of fit a minifigure through there, but it's a bit finicky. On the removed wall segments, you can see that there's also some extra interior detail. There's this little table with a candle and either a bread or a cutting board. I'm actually not really sure what that's supposed to be. That's about it for the individual segments. Together they create a really nice little village. I really like how this looks and how all these buildings interact with each other, and there's just so much detail throughout. Here's a look at all the spare pieces you get with the set. It's quite a lot. Some of the best ones are like the armor piece from the Jarl. There's a paintbrush and a golden sausage, but overall nothing too crazy. As you see, there are no stickers in the set, which is really nice and appreciated, and I think it should be standard for 18+ sets. The instructions for the set are mostly fairly standard, but in the front there's a really cool section about the history of Vikings, the inspirations for this model, the story of the fan designer, as well as the designers that worked on the set. It's a very nice read, and it's cool to tell the story of how the set came to be. On the back of the instructions there's also a big version of that cool print with the Midgard serpent, and I just thought that looked pretty cool. Okay, I think that pretty much covers everything that set has to offer, so it's time to give you my personal thoughts about it. Right out of the gate, I want to say I think this is a great set. And not just do I think this is a great set, I also think it's an incredibly good value for LEGO in 2023. This set has 2,103 pieces and goes for $130. And it's not just a bunch of small pieces, this is a big structure. You just get a lot for that money compared to other LEGO sets, and I think that's fantastic. When I first got this set, I haven't had seen any pictures of it. I only knew the original fan submission, and I was quite surprised because it looked quite a bit different, but I think I was positively surprised. I really like the structure, the buildings they chose. They picked some elements of the fan design and changed others, and I really think they made some really good decisions in that process. It's a super detailed set. It's well covered all around, like all the buildings are closed, except for maybe the cave, but I mean that's a cave, that makes sense. They have interior detail, they have a lot of really smart building techniques. This is what you want from an 18 plus set. Also, no stickers, which I think is really important for display sets like this, because if you have a set out over a long time, stickers is usually the first thing that gets damaged. So I'm very glad they have some very nice prints here and didn't use any stickers. I've seen some discussion about the topic of historical accuracy, mostly focused on the Viking helmets of the minifigures. They address it a little bit in the instructions, so I kind of want to say what they said there. The fan designer Florian actually has a master's degree in history, so I'm sure he knows way more about Viking history than I do. But the intention was to make a bit of a mix of history and like the nostalgia of the classic Lego Vikings set and their portrayal in like pop culture and fantasy. And I kind of get that decision. I think the biggest point of contention, as I said, I've seen online is the Viking helmets for the minifigures. And I just really wish they would have put in one more of the historically accurate helmets. That way the discussion could kind of be a bit avoided by just letting people choose which kind of helmets they want to use. I personally think it would have been maybe nice to just get some more minifigures, maybe like 2 more minifigures, because there's so much space for minifigures in the buildings, on the bridge, on those piers, and with just 4 minifigures, it sometimes feels a bit empty. I guess you could use more Viking minifigures from the longboat set if you have that, but I just wish this set would have some more, but also with this price per piece and what you get for that money, I get why they maybe wouldn't include that many minifigures. Maybe you can get some more elsewhere. Overall, the structure of this set is really cool. I like how it splits apart in the 3 segments. That's also really cool for the building process because you build them individually and then put them together. And that's a very like nice process. You see your progress very fast and it's cool to put it all together. The building experience overall is very fun. They have some cool building techniques with those mech fingers. There's some things that are a bit repetitive, like the bridge, for example, or some of the roof pieces are like, built this 2 times. But I think it's fine. It makes sense for the build. I don't think this is a big issue or anything. So overall, I think this is an amazing value. If you like what you see here, I would definitely recommend you to get this set. It's a very fun experience. It's very detailed. It's very nice all around. Also for Ninjago fans, because I'm a huge Ninjago fan and we have quite some Ninjago fans in our audience, this is a great Metalonia set if you want one. That's how I'm going to use this set. This is my new home for Kalev and his Metalonia buddies. So I just wanted to put that in for the Ninjago fans. Overall, I definitely recommend the set. This is a great set. I love it. Personally, I think it looks so nice all around. And I want to say a huge thank you to the LEGO Ambassador Network for sending us this set. It's always awesome if I can get to review a set that I really like so I can recommend it to people. And yeah, thank you all for watching. This has been very fun to review, and I hope you check out more videos here on Keep the Peace.